We're starting off with a 72-hour bag. Yet another big controversial project. Just like I said on the survival kit a couple days ago, there's a lot of videos out there on this, and a lot of guys think that their systems are awesome. I think that there's a lot of options, so that's why I did mine. I'm calling it the 72-hour bag and not a bug out bag and not a get home bag, and because I don't believe it's any of those in particular. It's whatever you think is appropriate. This is the bag that I'm using for X. Now in this case, this bag rides in my car every day at work as a police officer, and if something happened, I would have gear that I needed, like first aid stuff, basic tools, things like that. Or if I had to walk home for whatever reason, say after a huge tornado and some of the roads were torn up or something like that, I would have the capability to do that. And if I had to spend the night in the woods or spend the night outside, I could do that too. Is it going to be an extended stay survival backpack? No. Am I going to want to live out of this a week? No, and actually I can't. Doesn't have enough stuff to do so unless I really get after it and start hunting and things like that. So I start with what's not in the bag, and that's what's always around the bag. For example, if you work in slacks and a tie, you work in a dress, you work in a police officer's uniform, what have you, if you do have to put this thing on your back and start walking, you'll probably want to change clothes first, because you don't want to have what you're wearing on. It's not as comfortable for walking. Now if it's all you have, it's all you have, but if nothing else, maybe a pair of shoes. There's just some LL Bean tennis shoes. Maybe you do some hiking boots, some tactical boots, combat boots, whatever. It's always important to have some clothes with you. The pants are also something that I keep. I put on the pants just to show for the video, but it's something I keep by the bag or in the bag because it'll let me change. The shoes are something I can change into. I don't want to wear a police uniform if I'm having a hike home. Not because I don't want to help anyone. If I see someone in need, I'll help them. It's I don't want the bad guys targeting me. The uniform would be an instant target. So I'm getting out of that thing. Plus Kevlar vest and all that. It's going to be hot as can be to walk in. I'm getting out of that uniform if I can. Taking the stuff off my duty belt or out of my pockets that I would need to take with me. Transferring to my new set of clothes or my bag, and I'm out. More often than not, I've never had to bug out or I've never had to get home in my bag, but I do use the gear in my bag all the time. You need this, you need that, you need a screwdriver, you need a pry bar, you need a extra set of clothes because something happened, you just got filthy or something like that. Some snacks, some water out of your canteen, things happen. So I've used the bag a ton, but I've never had to use it for a natural disaster. Okay, although it has been with me on a couple of them. Just last year, our neighboring town got torn up pretty good with a tornado, and the bag, actually not this bag, but a lot of its contents were riding with me that night while we filled in and protected that neighborhood during that emergency. So we'll get to the bag as part one. The bag, everything in it. There will be a part two. Part two is going to be extended capabilities. It's not something that I have in this bag, but it's going to show options that you might use in your system, because this is all up to you. If you don't think you need something, don't use it. If you think you want something, use it. Okay? I have backpacks that I use for maybe an extended stay or a survival situation where I have to put that bag on and walk out into the woods or into whatever, or walk to my dearlies 93 miles away. That's a bigger bag with more stuff in it. We'll go through that in part two. For now, this is part one on a basic get home bag or a basic 72-hour bag, whatever you want to call it. This bag, by the way, is weighing in at about 23 pounds with gear. Not terrible, not great. I know some guys are under 20, but that's what it is. I have to blend, just like Nothing Fancy is discussed, I have to blend firepower and mobility. You got to have some capabilities. The guys that say, oh, you don't need anything but ammo and whatever, you just take what you need and, you know, fend for yourself and make shelter out of a box and do whatever. I wonder if these people have ever actually been in the wilderness. In 10 years of scouting as an Eagle Scout, and working at a summer camp for 3 years, 3 summers, and living in a tent, in high adventure base, in police work, in decades now of deer hunting and pig hunting and all that stuff, I've been in the woods. And I'll tell you, many a weird night of horrible cold or raining or sweltering hot or this broke or you got stuck, or it all turns out to be funny adventures you laugh about later. But when it's happening, you want all the gear you can have. The more capabilities, the better. If it's sitting there pouring rain and you're a cool guy because you don't need a poncho because you'll dry out, like a guy at my police department says, you know. Yeah, that's the cool guy that gets pneumonia and dies. Or the cool guy that maybe doesn't die from it. Maybe he doesn't even get sick from it. But he had a long night and it was real cold. So it's just one example. I just want you to understand that you have to double think everything. I would rather carry 6 more ounces or 1 more pound than not have it when I needed it. There does have to be a limit. You can't go crazy, which is why I started with this. This bag began life as the Rush 24 bag from 511. It didn't have enough room. It's about a 2,000 cubic inch pack. This pack is the 72, the biggest one from 511, Rush 72, and it's about 3,400 cubes, but I don't need it all. But I came to the realization that I'd rather have the room and not need it than not have it, because then you're screwed. You can't put anything in your bag if it's packed full to the brim. So this thing's about half empty, but I have plenty of room, which also leaves me more room for, say, winter survival, or some kind of flannel set of clothing, something like that, a winter coat, winter jacket. Maybe I have to add some extra food to this because something else is going on. Maybe my buddy's hurt, or one of my kids is hurt, or my wife, and I'm adding some of their stuff into the bag. I like having extra room. It's better than no room. So the Rush 72, it's a good pack. I liked it because it has your exterior stuff for a little bit of organization. It has this weird stuff space in here, if you can see that, which is kind of cool because you can stuff your rain gear in there or what have you. I also, let me grab it. I stuffed this in there. The 511 Tac chest rig. Now this is a chest rig for your AR mags. I happen to, as I said, work as a police officer. I have an AR always in my car, right? My patrol rifle. So you have to have some type of system to run it. Now I have stuff, a little bailout bag from 511 with more mags, and that's what I would really strap on if I was into a law enforcement situation. But this one, I fold up, and it fits right in there, okay? I like that because it's easy to get to. If I want to take my rifle with me, I can, and now I have mags with me and an easy way to deploy them. It's backless, so it's not super hot. It's not going to interfere with your backpack and make you boil to death, especially here in Texas. But it's good to go. It's also the same color, but as you can see, if it's sitting in the bag, even with that open top, you don't really even notice it's there. You don't notice that I have a chest rig, but I have one because it's the same color. I'm not going to go into this too much, but it is pretty important that you have a system of equipment, just like you wouldn't have a deer rifle without a sling, if at all possible, or a gun with no bullets. It's important to have the supporting gear that's necessary to run some of your stuff. In this one I would run, it holds 6 mags, but I've taken up one of the pouches right here with a holster for an M&P, and then I have a dump pouch, 2 pistol mags, a light pouch, and a trauma kit. And this has a chest seal, a tourniquet, a Castell tourniquet, some other stuff in there, an Israeli bandage, stuff for heavy bleeding, big time trauma. Okay, so what if I wasn't going to take the chest rig with me? Great. Maybe I grab the pistol mags, throw them in the pack, and I grab the trauma kit off, because see, it's just some clasps there. I unclasp that real quick, pull the tabs, and I throw that in my pack too. So you don't have to take this if you don't want to, because you have the ability to take it all apart, just like you do with all this gear. If you get into a situation where you're just going to need such and such to unload some of your gear, make it easy on you. Leave that in your car and take off, or whatever the situation. Okay. On the bag, I kind of pack it where the stuff closest to the outside is the stuff you would need the quickest. It makes sense, okay? Again, your mileage may vary on all this. And speaking of your mileage may vary, that's kind of a nuttin' fancy phrase if you guys watch nuttin'. I'm a huge fan. I'm not going to be a copycat of his channel because I think he's an original. And I want to apologize for the shot. You saw a shot like this in Nuttin's combat egress videos. It's just a really good way to get the bag as I show you. I wasn't trying to copy the shot. I actually tried it 10 different ways. before I started shooting, but man, this is a good shot. It does show the bag. So on the outside, little bitty pocket up here, which you didn't even notice probably. On the outside, I've got a multi-tool. Okay, this is the Leatherman Juice S2 gray. Very nice. It's small. You see how small that is in my hand. It's not a full-size Leatherman, but I have this because it has some of the basic tools that I might need quick, and I end up using this dang thing all the time. This is a great EDC item, and in reality this would probably already be in my pocket, but I throw it in the bag if I was taking the bag on some kind of outing. It also has a headlamp. This is a Petzl Tactica XP2, I believe, or the Tactica 2. I don't know what the XP is, but I have one of each in two different bags. It also has a flip lens, as you can see, so that you can use it as an infrared, which isn't really, or as a white. The red is a lot dimmer. It's good for reading maps, things like that. Doesn't spook game. A little harder to see. Little headlamp. It takes 3 AAA batteries, and I have AAAs with me, and it's very light. I think, I have to look it up, but I think it's 4.5 ounces, so pretty light, or 3.5. Also in the top is some spare battery pack. I don't carry much. I carry 3 AAAs. As I said, that replaces my headlamp that I just showed you. 2 CR123s. Okay, these are common in flashlights, not the ones I have on me right now, but it also is what my EOTech takes on my patrol rifle. So if the patrol rifle's coming with, I've got the batteries, or like I said, you use this more often than not, just as an everyday bag, an extended EDC system, if you will. So if my rifle needs batteries, I've got a set here. I also keep a set in my little bailout bag that comes with the rifle, and I got 2 AA's because I have a AA flashlight in here. So there's the stuff that I would need pretty fast. It's right up here. Batteries, multi-tool, things like that. I'll show you on the straps, which are excellent by the way. Super padded backpack, super padded straps. I have a little flashlight. And I have a few of these because I've come to like them so much. Okay, it's the Streamlight 2 AA. Okay, now I have a few versions. This does say ProTac 2AA, but my first one says PT 2AA. So these came out from Streamlight as the PT series the first year, and then this year they've become the ProTac series. No big deal. Same light. It's really cool. I like the AA because I have the rechargeable batteries that I can easily throw in there. It's plenty bright. Okay, it also has the dim mode and the strobe mode, which I like. This is a tiny little flashlight. If you see it in my hand, it's about 6 inches or so, and it's a AA size around, very skinny, with a pocket clip if it needs to go in my pocket. So this is a handy flashlight. I like it because it's also lightweight, I think at 3 ounces. So, okay. Back in the back is also a hydration compartment if you choose to use the hydration bladder. I don't have one in here, but I do like them. I know some guys hate them. I don't live in the north, so I don't have a problem with my hydration bladder freezing in the tube, which a lot of guys do up north. In Texas, hydration bladder is good to go. You want as much water as you can because there's a lot less available for you. So I run a Source bladder, S-O-U-R-C-E, which is a lot of what the military uses if you want one. I just don't have it in here today. Also in the top is a little zipper, right? This is a good pouch right here. It's felt lined, fleece lined, and I keep a pair of sunglasses. Okay? And on the handle right here, I normally keep my ball cap, Hoyt bows, strapped to there. That way I've got a hat and sunglasses in here because I doubt that I'm not allowed to wear a hat actually on duty. So I don't have a hat on, and I don't have any sunglasses on probably because it's luck of the draw. Every time you need something, you won't have it. So I always keep a regular, and those are $9.99 from Campmore. That's a Coleman pair of sunglasses. They're super comfortable, and they're polarized for $9.99. So keep them in here so that they'll always be there. Back to the bag. In the front pocket, which is the next priority stuff, little more things here. I've got a little bitty trauma pack, okay, from American Medical, AMK, American Medical Kits. It's got the quick clot sponges in there and the combat gauze. This is for some heavy bleeding. If I don't take my chest rig with me with the tourniquet and everything, at least I have something if I need it, or if others need it. You know, a lot of times you watch these videos or you think about your system and you're thinking, man, I'm a badass. I'm not getting hurt. I'm not going down. Okay, maybe you are, Rambo. But maybe others around you will need some assistance. Kind of like the police thing, you know. It may not be you in trouble, and I'll even go so far as to say it probably won't be you in trouble, but it could be your buddies, or it could be an unknown stranger, a citizen. If you have extra supplies, you can help those people, okay? It would, I'm telling you, it'll bother your conscience if you didn't have the gear necessary to help somebody and they get permanently injured or worse out there in the field. Also in the top, I've got my fire kit, okay? In the fire kit, I keep a Bic lighter, REI waterproof matches, 4 wet fire tenders, and then 3 military trioxane fuels. These are real cool. I picked up like 30 of them for $20 on eBay. Good little bars. These are fuel bars. You can cook over them, you can boil water over them. Of course, a lot longer than a regular stove, but it works. And it's an easy way to make fire if it's wet outside, i.e. after a tornado, after a hurricane, after a whatever, a flood, that still catches on fire, which is a good thing. Let's see. These little pouches, that's a trash bag, just folded up, a full-size kitchen bag. I had 2 black trash bags that I used that were kind of heavier. They weren't drum liners, but they were bigger, like long leaf bags. Those are handy for pack covers, makeshift rainwear for somebody that doesn't have it, things like that. But I don't know where they are, so I've done something with them. You have to check your gear all the time because you use stuff, and if you don't replenish it, you won't have it. So I'll find those. Right here I got 2 glow sticks. These are the 12-hour 6-inchers, pretty standard stuff. A lot of people will say, why would you need stuff like that? But let me tell you, glow stick sure is handy if you're changing a tire at night or something like that, or you get stuck and you're trying to dig that wheel out, or whatever, you're trying to clean that animal that's hanging up there at night, which is common if you're a deer hunter or something like that. You always get them at last light. So it's not ideal, but it's a good way to pop that chem light, throw it on the ground, change that tire. You don't have to be holding the light or whatever that would take up your hands. Also in here I've got a regular old pencil, okay, and a real Right in the Rain pad. Of course, any paper would work. I kind of like the Right in the Rain stuff because they say it can take all kinds of abuse. I've got a roll of toilet paper, squished, flattened out, as you see right there. Toilet paper should go without saying. Another thing that I had in here, and I've taken out because I keep going back and forth of do I need it or not, is an Esbit stove. For those of you who don't know, it's about 6 ounces of awesomeness. It folds open, it's a little bitty compact metal stove, 6 or 8 ounces, and it holds a little fuel tabs or those trioxane bars that I have in there, or the wet fires. And I thought that it might be a handy way to boil water. I do have an aluminum water bottle. I keep it in here normally. I took it out for the video because I keep going back and forth. I'm trying to cut down a little bit of weight on the bag. Last up in the front is I have a radio. This is an Eaton. It's just the FR160 that pretty common. I think you guys have seen it. It has a solar strip on top. It's AM FM, has a dynamo crank on the back, so you can crank the thing if you don't have any batteries anymore. That's really why I bought it, because even if you're, as a matter of fact, I don't think this one even has batteries. It's just always a crank or a solar. Can't remember. And then it's got a little flashlight up here, which of course is just an extra light. I'm not using it. I already have my PT2A, my Protect 2. I've already got my headlamp, and I've got in my survival kit in here, I've got a baby light, so a mini mag. It does have a little USB deal right here on the back, so that theoretically you could plug in your phone and charge it, but take it from me, be aware. I've tried this 3 times and I can't get it to charge the phone. I mean, it'll go up like 1%, 2%, but that's about it. I think ton of cranking, you might get a little bit out, or maybe just enough to make one emergency call or send one emergency text, something like that, but not a lot of power out of that bad boy. But it is a neat radio, and it's rubberized to the touch, so kind of shock resistant and lightweight, small. Okay, I think that does it for the front. On the side, if you'll notice, you've probably already seen a glimpse of it and everything, but I have a 511 H2O carrier is what this is. This one's in OD green. It's I like it because it's real rugged. It's got a little bit more MOLLE over here, if you can see that, so you can put other things out if you needed to. It's Velcro and it's strapped, so your water bottle is not going anywhere. And in there I just have a 25-ounce Campmore aluminum water bottle. I like it because it's the BPA free, it doesn't have a taste. And of course, if you haven't figured it out by now, you need a way to boil water. This boils water, which you have to put in hot water in the dehydrated meals. This boils water to purify it, all kinds of stuff. Not only can you drink out of it, but you can cook on it. So always have a stainless steel bottle in your stuff. On the side, I keep a sheath knife, a fixed blade knife, and a pocket knife. Both of mine are SOG. I'm a SOG nut, although I have a lot of other brands, so don't go crazy. This is the folding knife. I've had it for a long time. I like it with it's the Trident, SOG Trident, Trident. I like it because it has a little lock, even though it's spring actuated. It's not automatic, but it's assisted. It has a little lock here, so you can lock that so it won't open on you if it's in your pocket. I carried this on duty for a long time. It's got a seat belt or strap cutter right there, which is real cool, which works with the knife closed, obviously. It works on the knife's blade, if you can see that. So I like that little cutter right there. Has a real good clip that's ultra deep, I guess about as deep as they get, right? It literally extends over the top of the knife, so this knife is buried in your pocket, and it also goes tip up so that when you pull it out, right, you drew that out of your pocket, your thumb would already be there to open it. Pretty handy. I like carrying it that way. So, good knife. I think a big, full size, I think that's a 3.5 inch blade folder from a reputable company of your choice is a good idea. And then I have the SOG SEAL Team Elite for a fixed blade. I've hunted with this knife for a long time. You're seeing stuff upside down, so I have to flip it. So, 7.5 inch blade, super aggressive, got jimping like there is no other. I mean, it's just a jimped blade. You can literally put your hand on it to work it down on the bone or what have you. It's great on cleaning stuff, although it is freaking huge. It's 7.5 inch blades, so not the best cleaning knife for an animal or what have you, but an excellent knife nonetheless. There you go. And I think you'll like it. It's built super good. Great grip, stippling on here. I love the finger grooves on here. It's got a lanyard deal. It's got a pommel right there. Lanyard hole. This is a bad boy knife. And you know what? Just so you know, a quick 5 seconds for SOG. Hey man, good knives. I've never broken one. They're always reasonably priced. That SEAL Team Elite can hang with all kinds of knives, and the thing's $100. Now I know 100's a lot, but when you start getting into all these crazy custom knife makers and start hitting $700, $1,000, even $200 or $300, which is not hard to do. $100 knife that'll do anything you want. I'm liking that. So it's not the end all of knives, but it is a nice one at $100. It does it for me. Okay, now to the big compartment. These are some compression straps that also pull this part forward, which you can adjust. If you have more stuff in here, let it out. If you don't, pull it on up to get the weight closer to you. In the main compartment, right? Up here in the lid, as you see all the way down, it has these mesh zippered up compartments. I don't use them all, but in the top I have my charging stuff, and a lot of you guys are going, what? You don't have to have charging stuff for survival. Okay, you're correct, but in an emergency this could help save your life. If you need to communicate where you are and there's still some type of communication thing going, you might need to charge your phone, just enough to do so or something like that. You might need to charge that little radio. You might need to charge and on and on and on. So you have it. I have two things, okay? First, some cords that go to all this stuff and go to the phones that I own. I have an Android phone from Motorola, but this is a Cordage Solar AA battery charger. Pretty cool. You have a little stand here, a little kickstand, okay? You prop this up into the sun. It's tiny, as you see in the palm of my hand, probably 4.5, 5 inches. It's very tiny, very lightweight. You either set it to in or out, okay, if you're taking in juice or you're putting out juice. I leave mine on in, and as it's charging, even in this sunlight from that window, if you can see the little red lights on, it's already taking a little bit of charge. But what it does is, here's your USB deal, okay? You put your charger, you can put your phone or whatever on this, and it's charging it. At the same time, it's also charging 2 AA rechargeable batteries. So super cool. I showed you in my spare battery bag that I had some AA's for my Streamlight ProTac 2 AA. Okay, so there's another way that I can charge those if I'm out a little longer than I wanted, or say my light lasts 2 to 4 hours, whatever light you're using, but you're working a 12-hour deal all night long on a tornado cleanup, which I've done. you may need to go through 2 or 3 sets of batteries. Of course, you can just keep them with you, or you can charge them. And I know what you're saying. Oh, you're working at night, moron. How are you going to charge it with solar? This stores the energy in those batteries, so if you put it in, they'll at least give you 1 charge out of the 2 AA's that are already in there for your phone or what have you, or just pull out the batteries and use them. So I like it, and it wasn't too bad. I bought one for like $35 on eBay. I later found that one for this bag, because I have multiple things in multiple systems, but I found that one for like $18.99. Shipping was free, brand new in the package. So I guess it just depends on when you buy them. The next is the Duracell Powerhouse. I use this for the same thing. It can charge anything that's USB based, okay? And it works on, it's inherently built in with a mini USB, but my stuff uses micro USB, which most stuff does today. So you can put this in and do what have you. You charge it via the top, okay? With the mini, it comes with a cable. You charge this via USB on your computer. You push the button, okay? It puts the juice, if you can see that it's got a little green tint to it, it puts the juice to whatever. And this is pretty good. This is a 2500 milliamp battery. So quite a bit. It can charge a couple of iPhone charges. My battery, the Droid Razr Max HD, is 3000 milliamps, so it can give me about 80%, 85% charge, but it can do 2 regular old iPhones, iPhone 4s. So a neat little device. Another neat thing is you can put this, you can connect your phone or your walkie-talkie or what have you up to this that goes with USB, and then stuff everything in your bag, and it's charging while you're walking, or it's charging while you're sleeping, or it's charging while whatever. You don't have to have a bunch of stuff spread out, or something getting solar, or something strode out all over the place. So I like the little charger. In here I just have a poncho. This is just a Campmore 12-ounce poncho, PVC poncho, $3.99, and you can use it as an emergency shelter. You can use it as a poncho, and it'll cover your pack, so good to have a poncho. In the main deal, I got a bean anorak. This is a kind of a hoodie, a super thin hoodie, so to speak, but it's not cloth, it's a synthetic. It's not necessarily waterproof, but I've worn it in several little drizzles and stuff like that, and it's water resistant. I like this because it has a kangaroo pouch up front. I actually saw this originally in some video that Nothing Fancy did years ago, and I've always had one. At 49 bucks, a little high, but this has been a great piece of clothing, and it's a great way to throw this over you to keep the wind off, to keep the sprinkles off, or what have you, or just to warm up in the morning. It may be a little cool. It's great for layering. You can take this off and you got your regular stuff on. So I like the anorak. Also in my deal, I have a 96-ounce collapsible canteen, an Hygiene canteen collapsible. I like to have some water with me. Again, I'm in Texas, and I'm in North Texas, so it's not like I'm in the desert. But you know, you never know. If I need to fill up some water from a water fountain, from somebody's garden hose, or filter it, I can do so. I have the Cordage Hiker Pro also in my gear, as you can see. It's a great filter. I'm sure you guys have seen this one by now if you're watching this video. And its wide mouth filter fits that wide mouth top. So you can fill this bag pretty quick, this reservoir pretty quick. It also fits my water bottle. So I can fill up the water bottle, I can fill up this. And between that's 1 plus 3, I got 4 liters of water on me, not even having a hydration reservoir, which if you had one, it holds up to a 3 liter, so you can have 3 more. But remember, water's weight, so you're going to have to balance that out. It's great to have it all, but if you can't carry it, what good is it? Alright. Little fishing kit, line, sinkers, hooks, few weights, couple lures, right? This is in a Ziploc bag. I bought all this at Walmart, less than 10 bucks. Anybody can do that. They have a whole fishing section. Pick up a few things that pertain to the fish that are in your area, whatever that may be, leaders, some kind of flies for trout, whatever you have. If you're going to be fishing, then put a little kit together. I said in the survival kit video, it's a lot easier to fish than it is to trap. If you're not a snare trap guy, you're going to be clueless, as most are, as I would be, even though I know at a time how to set them. It takes a long time to trap most animals, so you have to learn their patterns. I have in here, I don't have a sleeping bag, okay, but I have the SOL Escape Bivy that you guys have seen. This is their bigger one with the zipper on there, but still super light, less than a pound. Weight well worth it. At night, if you have to get warm, or you have to get somebody that's going into shock warm, this is a great option. Also have a space blanket in that survival kit. Check out that video if you haven't seen it. I think it'll help understand how this bag is built around that kit. I'll move on to the survival kit. I showed you this in the personal survival kit, Survival Foundations video, the very first video in that series, just a few days ago. In this kit is basically everything to go. If you had to take only one thing, you could take this and have your fire, your shelter, your tools, your signaling, things like that. So I don't have additional signal whistle, additional signal mirror, additional all those things. They're here. I know where they are. They're all well organized because I can just pull this out and get to all my survival gear. Okay, and then if I need to go and I can't take anything else, this is what comes with me. So I think that makes sense, but you should know what's in this bag. Go watch that video. Personal survival kit. This is a first aid kit. It's in a 511 pouch, okay? The 6x6 med pouch, which I like, which is MOLLE compatible. I have it in this so that if I'm running out of room in here, I could strap it onto the bag on the outside. Plenty of MOLLE out there. Or if this needs to get strapped on the TacTac chest rig, it can. Or if this needs to get put on my belt, it can. But it's organized so I can see it in one pouch. It's not all over the place. And it's MOLLE compatible, so it's versatile. This kit is nothing more than, it began life as the AMK Steelhead, which is a newer kit that's just come out in their Hunter series. I have their Bighorn and their Grizzly also for some other systems, but I wanted something smaller for this little everyday get home system. And it's good. It has basic medicines, which I've upgraded. It's got some antiseptic stuff, bandages, tape, some gloves, a pencil, things like that. Remember, I also have my trauma kit, which you've already seen. And then I also have the crazy trauma kit, like the You Got a Hole in Your trauma kit with the 511 TacTac chest rig. So this is a good little personal kit. If you need more, there is more, and I'll show you that in part 2. Okay, at the very bottom is a blue bag. It's in a waterproof sack. I actually saw Suits use these. If you guys watch his stuff, Suits 00. It's a dry bag basically, but it's cloth instead of rubber, and it works. And in here is a Redhead, which is Bass Pro Shops brand, 3D leafy suit, pant and jacket with the hood. You wonder, why would you need a 3D leafy suit? And my answer is in case you need to disappear. So if something's going real bad and I need to get home and I don't want to take the road because there's some goons out there, or I don't want to take the road because it's closed, or I have to go through the woods and I don't want to be caught trespassing on somebody's stuff because I'm just trying to get home, I'm not going to hurt anybody, here you go, 3D leafy suit. I'm not going to go through other uses. Some of you will go, oh, I could use that if I had to do this and that. Okay, if you're going to be on the offensive, or then do it. But I'm talking about defensive. This lets you blend in. It won't blend in an urban. I'm talking in the wilderness. Okay. If you have to get across some land, or you've got to go somewhere where you don't want to be seen, this is a good way to do it in the woods. And I think $79 when I bought it, and they may be $89 now. It's good to go. Plus, the leaves are double-sided. Years ago, Nothing Fancy did a Cabela suit. I've had this for probably 10 years, but years ago I saw one of Nothing's first videos, and he did a Cabela suit, but it had white on the back side of the leaves. The fabric was only printed single-sided, if I remember, and that was a problem. I got this 10 years ago. As I said in some of my other videos, I used to own a hunting store, a gun store, that did guns, archery, hunting, fishing, things like that, you know, small town hunting store. And of course, so we stocked these, you know, we sold camo, and that's when I got this. My brother and I used to use it for bow hunting. He had one too that he tore up. But I've always had it, and I thought this would be a great for the get home bag in case I need to hide. Okay, personal kit. For some reason, I've shown a few people this bag. This riles everybody up the most. They say, oh my God, what a weenie. Why would you need that stuff? You don't need personal gear. You don't need this. You don't need that. Okay, man. You may not need it all. There may not be a situation where I need shampoo. There may not be a situation where I need soap. But the rest is some deodorant, some hand sanitizer, some wet wipes in 2 varieties, and a toothbrush and toothpaste. Okay? This is good to go. I want you to think back to things like the Oklahoma City bombing, to things like 9/11 in New York, or in the Pentagon in D.C., when big fires happen, big collapses happen, urban stuff happens. Everybody's covered in soot and ash and all kinds of crap. Even rural fires and stuff, big grass fires, wilderness fires, mountain fires. All this stuff that you see, people are covered in the ash or the dirt or whatever. Maybe you've had to do some trauma where you're helping people out and they may be bloody, just to be blunt about it. You're going to want to clean up after it's all said and done, or if you get to a spot in your day where you can clean up. Even if you're getting back in your car to drive home for the night, if you're out on some rescue effort or you've been involved in some type of disaster, some type of traffic accident, which can happen on the way home to anybody, everyone else's world is still okay, but yours isn't. So maybe use the hand sanitizer or the wet wipes to wipe up afterwards. No, it's not necessary, but it is handy. And I also have some Q-tips. And I think that just these little things might help keep you going. And that's what this whole bag is about, is have the gear you might need during the normal or the disaster situations. We're getting there. Nearly done, guys. In here I've got a hank of 550 paracord, 550 nylon cord. This is a Campmore, $3.99. Of course, you need cord for shelter or all kinds of different stuff, setting traps, setting trip lines. I also have a tarp in here. This is just a little 6x8. It literally weighs less than a pound. It was a Campmore, $3.50. Excellent little tarp, and it fits right in there. I think that's it on the big side. 2 side pouches, and we're out of here. Okay, tool section. As you see, I have some zip ties. This can be used for shelter making, lean-tos, tarp attachment, whatever. It can be used to fix your gear, put your stuff back on, lash your water bottle to your deal, whatever. Or maybe even zip tie some guy that's being unruly's hands if you needed to. And I'm not saying even if you're not police like I am. You're in a situation where somebody's going crazy, this might help. So I've got those. And then in the tool bag, it's just designed to be tools that you might need in an urban or wilderness setting to get you through. So, it's got a bag of these tools. It's got a small $2.99 trowel from Campmore, and it's got the SOG folding saw, which I like. This is great for cutting some wood, cutting a wooden fence, anything that you have to cut through. This would be a great deal. It really cuts fast, big, huge teeth on it. I have several of those. Okay, in the tool bag, a little more urban than rural, but I have some work gloves. Okay, these are great. They're super sticky, or super tough stuff on one side and cloth on the other, so they'll breathe a little bit. Okay, I've got a mini hacksaw in case you need to go through something for a rescue or rescue yourself situation. I've got a mini pry bar, which is double-ended, stuck on my tape. Okay, mini pry bar. This is a great way to bust some glass if you have to, pry open a door, help others, help yourself. And I've got a Stanley bit screwdriver. These are Walmart tools, by the way. This is a Walmart tool, by the way. This whole thing, I think the pry bar was $9, but the screwdriver was like $3.88, and this was $2.88, I think. So real inexpensive. But a screwdriver, a hacksaw. I already have some pliers on my multi-tool, and then the folding saw, the shovel, digging out a tire, cutting something. Good to have some tools, because you'd be pretty pissed off if you didn't have them. That's it for the tool bag, which I like these pockets, by the way. There's other dividers I'm not using right now. Last but not least, a little bit of food. And normally, by the way, I actually had, but I ate it working an off-duty gig with this bag in the back seat. I ate some big bags of beef jerky. I normally carry 2 or 3 bags of beef jerky, some little snack crackers or Cliff Bars, things like that. I don't want anything in here, as you see, that I'm going to have to cook. The goal in this is to stay lighter and faster, and I'm trying to get to where I'm going, or it's just something to get me through a certain situation. Maybe I'm in a rescue situation where I'm having to work 12 hours extra. Maybe I'm in a situation where I just got stuck, a huge wreck, so I'm 4 extra hours on the highway. I don't know, something like that. But you have a snack if you need it, or real food in order to keep you going. In here so far, like I said, I jacked up the beef jerky pretty good, but I've got a couple of things of the flat packages of the tuna, as you see. And then I've got 3 of the little emergency drinking waters. Got them off of Amazon. Got a whole case of them, but they're the Daytrex emergency waters. Each one is 4 ounces. Not too bad. They last Yeah, this one's 9 of 2012 to 9 of 2017, so they last 5 years. And it would be something if I didn't have time to fill up my reservoir yet, to fill up my water bottle, to filter water, I would at least have something that I could drink to wash my mouth out or whatever in a bad situation. And then at the very bottom, I have a case of these. I also bought them on Amazon, but it's the 3,600 calorie Daytrex food bars. And these are real cool because basically, if you haven't seen these, I'm sure you have, but it's tons of little granola bar looking things in there. All, as a matter of fact, 12 of them. 4 for each day. It's designed to be the food or calories you need for 3 days. Now, I'm 225, 228 pounds when I actually lose about 20 or 25 of those. So I'm telling you now, if you're going to depend on one of these, you're going to starve bad. And starving, when you're really hungry, and I use the phrase starving, I'm not truly meaning medically starving, but I mean, if you're hungry as hell, you're going to start getting angry and irritable. And everybody in your group is too. So the more food, the better. You don't need more than you need, but you never know really how much you need. So I have this, plus some tuna, plus some beef jerky, plus some Cliff Bars, plus some whatever, M&M's, Snickers, whatever you want. I will caution you though, I'm sure you figured this out if you have your own bag. I live in Texas. Chocolate candy won't work in my bag because it'll just melt, right? And it'll melt quick. So obviously on mine I've got to go with different stuff. Granola bars, trail bars, stuff like that. And even that tuna bothers me. You know, it's supposed to last about 1.5 years on the expiration date, but I try to rotate it out about every 2 months during the summer because we get such hot summers and this thing rides in the car. So enough of that. Oh, a couple more things I was going to show you. An alternative to the poncho, I actually go with this, which is a pants and a jacket. This is the Campmore Cascade 2 rain suit. It's nylon, I like it, or polyester, or whatever it is. It's super light, it folds up real small, okay? And the whole suit was about 30 bucks, but it really does work. I just used this on a trip where we went to Broken Bow, Oklahoma. It was pouring down rain and that thing was fine, bone dry, and $30, and it packs into nothing. I stick into this thing a lot too, this area up here. So you can go with the full rain suit if you don't want to do a poncho. It's probably all in all 6 ounces or so, and that little Campmore poncho is 12 ounces. So you do save some weight by going with the rain suit, but of course $3.99 for the poncho versus 30 bucks for the rain suit. I think there's a give and take on weight, firepower, and what have you. Okay, hope you liked it. That's part 1. Part 2 is coming, and I'm going to show you things that you might put in your extended bag, or you might choose to put in your primary bag because you think that it's that important. I'm going to give you some more options of gear that could go in your systems coming up. Remember, if you like this stuff, check us out on Facebook at Scout Tactical. Check us out on YouTube, like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.